First one, what was the first ones again?
The first one is the intelligent
Oh, yeah,
design from
yeah,
outside,
yeah.
which I hope we all agree is fairly mind-blowing. You can't conceive of God. It's mind-blowing.
I don't think that's mind-blowing at all.
Okay,
I don't think it's as natural to me to infer without observing where this umbrella came from or what the name of the guy who made it is or what country he's from.
For a lot of us, it's fairly
Hang on. No. It's not. It's natural. We mentioned this earlier.
My mind's blown.
You're mind blown by the power of it, of this creator. But I'm not mind blown by saying, okay, these have the hallmarks of knowledge, power, and intent. They are the effects of knowledge, power, and intent. That's not mind blowing. That's natural. We agreed earlier.
What I mean is this: in the Old Testament, and I think in probably the Quran as well, the idea that you can't look straight into the face of God because He is so big, He's unknowable.
That's different to saying.
Okay, I'm bringing
that's
that
different.
property. What I'm saying is, it relies on a property which says there's a thing which is just beyond your bloody comprehension.
That's
saying that God is beyond your rational understanding.
I'll tell you what that's like saying. Yeah, there's a huge building over there. Yeah, that could either be the result of wind blowing and putting this forward together, or the result of. Yeah, it is. There's no problem with that. Let me just finish it. Yeah. So what is more complex? And what is more complex? The wind? No. Because I'm going on what you said. You said because God is so great, we cannot to infer that this umbrella is a product of knowledge or this whole universe is a product of knowledge. Hang on, let me just finish. To infer that this universe is a product of knowledge is something mind blowing that we can't accept. Now you're saying that because God is beyond our full comprehension. Yeah. But I'm saying that inference is not. The inference that is for a product of knowledge from a knowledgeable being is not the same as understanding the full glorification of God.
That might be the point, but what I'm saying is that there are three possibilities here. Possibility one is the creator one, which involves a mind-blowing component, namely God. God is beyond rational understanding. There's a mind-blowing element in there.
There's no.
Option two. Okay, your mind may not be blown. Allow my mind to be blown. Okay, my mind is blown.
No, but
I'm telling you the truth.
No, but you're
telling me my mind isn't blown.
Yeah, it's not.
No, my mind's blown.
It's not.
Why can't I say my mind?
I'll tell you why it's not. Because is it mind blowing that this umbrella has a knowledgeable creator?
Now we're going circular.
It's not.
Let me cover the three.
You covered them. We understood.
Okay, apparently I'm wrong in having my mind blown.
You're not. I'm missing. Your mind is blown by God itself. Okay, but the inference, but that has no implication on you inferring.
I didn't say it did. Can we just please let me move on?
That's the point. Sorry, that's the point.
Okay.
That's the point.
Okay. Let's agree the other two options are mind-blowing, shall we?
Yeah.
Option 2, mind-blowing. There was nothing, now there's something.
Exactly.
That blows my common sense. Option 3, there was always something. That blows my common sense.
Exactly. And
option 1, personally, also blows my common sense. It's the most appealing at the beginning.
It doesn't.
But then slowly. Now, my common sense tells me the world is flat.
I disagree. Watch this.
What I'm saying is, whatever the truth is, it's going to blow your common sense. The message of all physics is you can't trust your common sense. So stop platforming so much of your assumptions on your common sense.
No. Because let me just adjust this. So your start point that because God in his full nature is beyond our comprehension. I agree with that 100%. Okay, I'm an Orthodox Muslim. I don't believe we can understand how God is. Okay, but that doesn't negate that we can infer that this is the handiwork of God, or we can observe His actions.
I wasn't saying.
Hang on. So this is the inference. The inference and the sum whole of all of our experience that you mentioned earlier, the sum whole of all of our experience is that when we can see the hallmarks of knowledge, the hallmarks of power and the hallmarks of intent, that this implies and the natural inference is that there is a rational creator. Now I agree with you, the other two, mind-blowing. Yeah. The first one, to understand how God is, that might be mind-blowing. But to infer, to understand his handiwork, that's not mind-blowing at all. Okay. And that is the natural one that we should go back to.
If you're going to refine it down to that point, on that point you're correct. Nonetheless, in toto, each of the three arguments requires a mind-blowing component. God is mind-blowing as well, and he is inherent in option 1.
If you'd allow me to finish my example over this with the building, we've got a gust of wind that has put this building together, or this is a product of a design team in an office. Which is simpler?
You're using Occam's razor.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
No. Which is simpler? This is actually opposite to what Occam says. Because the conclusion is opposite to what Occam says. Occam says the simpler explanation is often the truer one. Yeah. But what's actually simpler? To say that this was a product of a design team or a gust of wind? Which one is simpler?
I agree with you. I've already agreed. Then we've moved on.
So look,
why do you keep saying no?
Hang on. Because I'm trying to draw the point where we differ. The point where we differ is that the gust of wind is simpler than the design team. But yet we never postulate that the gust of wind put that together.
No, the design team is simpler.
No, it's not. Which is in its makeup, which is simpler, a gust of wind or the human brain?
The design team is a better Occam's razor explanation
Absolutely,
for that.
absolutely. But now what you're conflating is by saying the simpler explanation. Now, and when you're saying, well, God is complex, his fullness is beyond our comprehension, which is simpler, the gust of wind or the design team? We've already said it's the gust of wind is actually simpler.
No, I don't think so.
It's actually simpler.
No, because if the gust of wind created that, the probability of that shape occurring with random gusts of wind is much, much, much lower statistically than the probability of an intelligent design.
Absolutely, but what in nature, because we're conflating what we mean by simple, yeah? In the actual makeup of it, what is more complex, the human brain or the gust of wind?
Human brain, clearly.
More complex.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we're gonna say,
so. I might be
yeah,
wrong, but I think so.
well, let's hope so. So if we're gonna say that the simple explanation is often the easiest one, and by meaning of that we mean what the actual thing is, how it is, then the gust of wind is simpler, and that should be a better explanation for that building because it's simpler.
I know.
But we don't mean it like that. That's why we're saying. That's why I'm saying it's not mind blowing to say that God created this, but it is mind blowing to understand how the fullness of God is. It is mind blowing and irrational to say where it just popped into existence, and it is. And I agree with the second and third point that it is mind blowing and irrational to say that it's always been there. Go with the first one, and the sum whole of human experience shows we've never experienced where something that has all the hallmarks of design, purpose, intent, and so on and so forth can come about with no knowledge, no power, no intent.
Well, scientists would argue differently. They would argue that what you've had here is something which always existed. It automatically has inherent laws, like gravity, for example.
And that's a philosophical assumption. That's not scientific.
Well, you ask any scientist, they will say they can demonstrate gravity working everywhere in the universe, always, without exception.
Yeah.
That's not a philosophical, that's an
No, I'm not. On that thing, you may have some. I'm not talking about that, but you can't extrapolate. You can't extrapolate that and say, well, every claim that they've made.
They're saying they observe gravity has always worked and will always work everywhere in the cosmos as a fact inherent to the cosmos that requires no outside agency. Your assumption that that law of gravity requires an outside agency to come into being may be a flawed common sense thing, the same way my assumption the world is flat is flawed. No, it could be. You've got to, that is their point.
I'm saying,
you're going gravity must have been made by something, and you're missing the possibility that things may just be.
Okay.
That is
do we find purpose in this universe? Is there anything that has purpose?
That is a deep question.
No. Your heart has a purpose. Your kidneys have a purpose.
No, you're just chucking that out there. I happen to hope that you're right, but that's a deep discussion.
No. I don't mean purpose in the sense of moral purpose, and we should. I'm talking about purpose, just purpose. Your heart has a purpose. Your kidneys have a purpose.
Oh, mechanism.
That's a purpose. It has a function. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Your DNA has your
DNA
has information.
Yeah.
Okay. All of this implies. Okay. So matter on its own doesn't have a purpose or an intent.
Well, it does. It's gravity.
Matter has a purpose.
Yes. If gravity is a perfect example of something that you
what
could
it seems that you're
interpret as
doing.
matter having an intent.
What it seems that you're doing is you're taking the attributes of God and you're giving them to nature.
No. We can't
Because
stop.
purpose implies intent.
No, hang on. I'm saying that you could look at a phenomenon such as gravity and assume that it implied a conscious intent. Gravity is simply the property of matter being, effectively, the mass being attracted to mass. Yes?
And these follow certain mathematical laws that are ordered.
There is nothing within that process of attraction which actually requires any will or internal intent or subjectivity or purpose.
There is.
No, I know you say that, and it may do, but it may not.
Yes, whether we know the purpose or not, whether we know the
Mars.
no. This is you conflated two issues. I'm quite happy to say no. You've misplaced what I've just said, and I actually, if you listen to me, I said there may be a purpose that, and we don't happen to know every purpose.
Yeah, there may be.
Okay, so
or there may be no purpose.
Anyway, all right. Gents, I'm getting wet here.
Sorry. No, actually, you're not.
I'm getting wet actually, and look.
I'll give you wet. You want to see wet?
Okay, we're
I
comparing.
really like that you know some physics.
I wish you'd know more religion.
I won't take that badly. I know.
Okay, so there's a website that I can ask you to check out, and if you're around next week, take care.
I'll be around.
Take care.
What's your name?
Anwar.
Anwar, Tony. Nice to chat.
Nice, very, very good to speak
And
to
you
you.
guys.
There's a website called aboutatheism.net.
Okay.
Aboutatheism.net.
Yeah.
Check it out. and we can have a read, and then we can come back next week and we can kind of move on from that.
We'll be back where we started.
Hopefully better weather.
Cheers.
Take care, Tony.
Take care.
Nice one.